The Lions victorious. Final over the Chiefs. 21-20, opening night of the NFL. Happy we made it. We all made it. The Chiefs aren't happy. Everybody else is happy. Lions are going to the Super Bowl like I told you last night. Lions are going to win the game like I told you last night. Lions, my Lions. But we got something big on Dan Campbell, but let's hear a couple of minutes of him first as he's holding his lunchbox and holding that big bikini bottom lunchbox as he answered questions from the media following the Lions' victory.
It's why we play with 3 phases. So, if one at any given time is struggling a little bit, the other 2 will bail them out, and that happened today. And all the units stepped up when we needed them most, and I'm proud of those guys. I'm proud of the staff, I thought our defense really showed up today. And what's encouraging is in all 3 phases, we got so much to clean up, that will only be better from. But this was step 1. This is game 1. So I'm proud of them.
You just talked about the way you ended that game with your defense getting 2 big stops, and then your offense behind your offense putting in a game. The first down, you run it right down the throat, and then you get the first down. It's probably the way you like to see it end that way.
Yeah, that's something we talk about is closing games out. We with our offensive line and what we have offensively, we need to be able to do that, and it's something that we worked a lot on, situational football. But yeah, everybody knows the strength of our offense, and it's that old line. But defensively before that, man, I just thought they showed up. They showed up in a big way. We talked at halftime about cleaning up some of our communication errors, and we needed a takeaway, and we needed to be much better on third down. Well, we did that. We got a takeaway to the house, and we were 0-7 on third downs in the second half. And then you close it out on that last drive. They got 3 timeouts, and you get them in a 4th and forever. But I was proud of the way those guys played, and it was going to take every one of them, and it was going to take a lot of discipline in the front 7 and the back end, and boy, they did that.
Coach, what did you learn about this team? You go through the process every day.
Listen to him breathe into the microphone while he's waiting for the question.
That type of win. What do you learn about this team?
I didn't learn anything. I got verification on what I already knew, and this is a resilient team. It already was a resilient team, and we added pieces to that resilient team. So we're built to handle some stuff, and we did that today against a very good opponent.
The Chiefs are who we thought they were.
They are who we thought they were.
There's Dan Campbell, so happy. Look, there's lots of ways to be a successful head coach. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what kind of strategist Dan Campbell is. I don't know what kind
we watched it in game where you're second guessing.
Yeah, hey.
Right?
Yeah.
Look,
sure.
when the Cubs won the World Series, you and I were on air. Mm-hmm. What did we do? Questioned everything Joe Madden did.
Yes, exactly.
When the Dodgers won the World Series a couple of years ago, what did we do? We questioned everything Dave Roberts did related to his bullpen. They won. Today, Dan Campbell, you had a couple of decisions that you made going, ooh, I don't know. You won.
There's a misconception to what people and fans think about what great coaching is. When you say a great coach, every fan defaults to the same thing. This guy had a great system. He had a system. Right? He had a great system. He was able to out X and O your team with what he was able to do. And that was Bill Parcells for the longest time. No matter what, he was able to be the guy that, the big quote about him was always, he could take his players and beat your team. He could take your players and beat his team. Right? That was a big thing. And that it defaults to, guys got a great system. Guys got a great mind. Guys able to do it. Bill Belichick has been the guy for the last 20-some-odd years that we think of that way. He's always going to out-scheme you. And that is a way to be a great coach. But sometimes coaching is different. Like with Deion Sanders. Is Deion a great play caller? No, the guy's riding around on a golf cart, all the different stations at practice and shouting encouragement, what he's got to say. Deion's strengths are in recruiting and getting the guys to believe and fostering a culture. That's his big strength as a head coach. The same thing for Dan Campbell. And, Jay Glazer talked about it a little bit with us earlier in the show. Dan Campbell's someone who has created a culture. You can see everything that the Lions players have said about him, about each other, whether it's Jared Goff or anybody, players that played there last year and are gone, like Jamal Williams, whoever it is, they all said the same thing. We love playing for him. We love playing for each other. That's a really difficult thing to try to impart on your team. It's the same thing as, hey, I want to put in a winning culture, winning form. I want the guys to love each other and play for each other. Well, sometimes that's easier said than done because you have 50 different personalities in that room that you want to try to get on the same page. But everything you have seen from Dan Campbell to all the players there, they all say the same thing. Coach is great. We love Coach. We want to make him proud. He talks about his players. I'm making him proud. We saw it with Danny Hurley, right? What was the big thing we heard about Danny Hurley when UConn won this year? He just loves his guys, right? He doesn't do anything crazy. It's not about, hey, I got the grease pencil and I'm able to outmaneuver you, but he loves his guys and gets them to play at a high level. And that's what Dan Campbell is. The culture and the belief that he has built in there for each other. You heard him allude to it at the end right there by saying, hey, I just got validation tonight. That's being a great coach too. But people don't see it that way. They don't see it as, oh, he's just a guy there and he's a... No, that's part of being a coach, because you could have the most talented guys in the world. If you can't get them to go out there to want to give everything up they can to try to win a game, it doesn't matter how good you are.
Well, but it always goes back to, I mean, let's grab another sport in. Let's grab the world of the NBA. People dismiss what Phil Jackson did. Tell me how many other coaches could get all those egos with the Bulls, with the Lakers, and get those guys to go play and just put it all aside and what it's all about. I mean, especially you watch the years of Scottie Pippen, then and now. He bought in for the time until that round ended in the second three-peat. But
now he's selling a lot of bourbon, and he's bitter.
Salty. But just the idea of, like, you even got him to buy in. Right? Dennis Rodman, huge wild card. Both places, Phil Jackson got him to buy in. All of those things. So it takes a lot of the personality and finding guys and working and having continuity with your front office as well, of this is the type of player we're looking to bring in. This is the kind of team we're looking to build. Does Jared Goff necessarily fit in terms of the aesthetics of what you would think a Dan Campbell quarterback is? No, not necessarily. At one point, he was walking off the field after they tapped down that fourth down when they went for it, and he was walking off, and in my head, I'm sitting there going, he's singing to himself, City of Stars, are you shot?
I don't think people sing that song to themselves as much as you think they do.
No, but they should.
That's like your default.
But he looks like Ryan Gosling is the point.
I thought you go, I'm just Ken. Anywhere else I'd be a 10.
No, that was pretty good, too. Especially when he's starting to wear like the wrestling gear as he's singing it. But it's just the idea that, you go back to the fiery world of Ditka and what he and Buddy Ryan were doing. And like, that wouldn't work. Frostberg sent us a thing, right, where you're going to have the Bobblehead Hall of Fame. They're doing the chair throwing Bobby Knight commemorative bobblehead.
Oh, it's a beauty.
Right? It looks great. It really does look good. But you say, well, how does that work? And, well, it can, right? There's got to be a marriage of a lot of it. But now it's also the game has changed. Players are, you're looking at 53 individual corporations and trying to manage that and everybody's needs. It's kind of like everything the PA fails to do when they go to the negotiating table with Roger Goodell. In each of these businesses, you've got to figure out how you're going to reach your guys and come up with some sort of cohesive nature. And that's the thing with Dan Campbell. He is who he is, right? We've talked about Sean Payton a lot the last couple of weeks. Some of the quotes, I'd like that he would just keep that all in-house. But, hey, it's good fodder for us. But that's who he is. Don't apologize for it. Lean into it. Strategist, yeah, there's some things that are going to get left on the field. And sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. And having a guy like Kadarius Toney leave a bunch of balls on the field for you to go get. But you know what? You make the plays that are there out for you. And down the stretch, when it came time to say, hey, big boys, go get it and get me that lean, that offensive line took care of business.